Hi guys, good evening and welcome back to Gradeup. This is your next live session on the Gradeup IAS YouTube channel. I hope all of you are doing good. This, as you know, is an important term series. We have a live class from Monday to Friday sharp at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube, the Gradeup IAS YouTube channel. And that is the very reason that I want you all to subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss out on any class. Now, the topic for today, as you can see on the screen, is about scheduled languages. When you read Indian polity, you read about different types of languages, you read about classical languages, you read about official language of the country, official language of the states, and you also read about the scheduled languages. So in this video, I will be focusing on scheduled languages, the provisions regarding scheduled languages in the Indian Constitution, what exactly are the scheduled languages in India, and also the demand for making some other language also a part of this particular list, and what exactly would a language gain if it becomes a part of that particular list. Before we begin, again, those who have come in, a very good evening to all of you. I request you to hit the like button, to hit the subscribe button on the Gradeup IAS channel as well, so that you do not miss out on any new video that comes out on this channel. So without waiting any further, let's begin. I really hope that all of you have gone through the 12 schedules in the Indian Constitution. As I have been reminding you time and time again, there are a total of 12 schedules in the Constitution. 8 were there when the Constitution began, and then 9, 10, 11, 12 were added later on. The 8th schedule of the Constitution contains a list of 22 languages. There were 14 to begin with, and now there are 22. These 22 languages combined are called the scheduled languages. So this is what, in very simple terms, is a scheduled language, a language that is mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. Now, there are certain key provisions with regards to scheduled languages in the Constitution. There are a few articles regarding that which we will discuss in detail. Article 344, for example, says that there shall be a committee and commission formed for these languages to suggest which new language should be included here. This committee or commission would make recommendations to the President of India about a couple of things. First, they would recommend what new language can be included in the 8th schedule. Second, they would also recommend to the President how can we increase the use of Hindi throughout the country. So, this article says that once the Constitution is complete, on the 5th year anniversary of the Constitution, that is 1955, there shall be a commission formed in the Parliament to give suggestions in this regard. And then after that, every 10 years, there should be a commission formed to again look into that matter, to again see if there are any new languages that are still to be included in the 8th schedule or not, and also how to improve the use of Hindi in the entire country. This is the Hindi text. A lot of you have been asking me to bring these classes in Hindi. कई लोगों को हिंदी में क्लास चाहिए, तो इसीलिए आज की जो पीपीटी है उसमें हिंदी में भी लिखा है और इंग्लिश में भी लिखा है. सो जो अभी हमने इंग्लिश में पढ़ा था, सेम थिंग इज रिटन इन हिंदी. वो सेम चीज़ यहाँ पे हिंदी में भी लिखी है 8वीं अनुसूची के बारे में. Now, one more thing, guys. When you read about languages, and there has been a lot of demand about giving different status to different languages in India. Language in itself is a very touchy issue. People have lost their lives, unfortunately, on the name of language. A lot of demands to make new states are based on the issue of language, be it Andhra Pradesh that was made, be it Gujarat, Punjab. These are some of the states that were made on the basis of language. Even today, there are a lot of unfulfilled demands for this purpose. The Gorkha land, for example, is a demand made by the Nepali speaking population of West Bengal. They also want a new state. So language is not a very insignificant issue. It's an issue on which a lot of agitations have been held, an issue on which people have even lost their lives. Having said that, of all the languages that we have in the country, the Constitution of India gives a special place to Hindi. Now, you might argue against that, you might have your points against that, but the fact is that there is a special place given to Hindi in Article 351. The Article 351 says that it is the duty of the government, duty of the union to spread the use of Hindi language throughout the country. Now, this duty to the government is not given for any other language. The only language which the government has the duty to spread throughout the country is Hindi, which again goes to prove that Hindi has a very special place in the entire constitution, since no other language has been given this privilege. And that is why you see, especially in Hindi speaking states, a lot of effort has been put by the government. And I'll give you an example from my own experience. I don't know. So if you have been to Lucknow or if you belong to Lucknow, you go to, there's a very famous market in Lucknow called Hazratganj. So in Hazratganj, let's say a few years back, let's say 2010, the big shops, all of them had their hoardings in English. But all of a sudden, the government gave an order that now the hoardings of the shops, even the multinational shops, have to be in Hindi also. So you see McDonald's written in Hindi also. So again goes to prove that the government has a responsibility to give a push to the Hindi language, which is seen in many Hindi speaking states specifically, which is written in Article 351 of the Constitution. Coming back to the idea of the scheduled languages. Now there are a total of 22 languages written in the 8th schedule. It started with 14 and 8 were added later on as the time passed, as the demands were raised. These are those languages. The year 1950 suggests that they were a part of the schedule list since the beginning of the constitution. So as I said, there were 14 to begin with: Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi. Then we had Kashmiri, Kannada. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go back. Kashmiri, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi. Again, all 1950. Then we have Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit also, Tamil, Telugu and Urdu. So these were the 14 languages that were in the 8th schedule when the constitution began. Now there are 22, means 8 were added later on. Which 8? Sindhi was the first one to be added as a 15th language in 1967. It was the 21st constitutional amendment, if I remember correctly. Then we had a bunch of 3 languages added: Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali. A lot of people get a surprise when they hear the word Nepali, but yes, Nepali language has a significant number of speakers in India. They are mostly seen in Sikkim, Assam, Arunachal and even in West Bengal. So the Darjeeling area, Kamilpong area, these are the areas where a lot of Nepali speaking population lives, and that is precisely the population that is demanding Gorkha land, a new state for Nepali speaking population. Then the last 4 were added in 2004, making the number 22. That is Bodo, Dogri, Maithili and Santhali. These are the 4 that were added later on, and they made this entire list to 22. Now, although there are 20, and also there are just a few facts I would like to clarify here. The government of India has their own official language. There is no national language of India. There are official languages. The government of India has Hindi and English as the official languages. The state governments, on the other hand, are free to choose or free to opt for their own official languages. Now, when the states opt and choose their official language, they are not bound by the 8th schedule. They can choose any official language that they think fit. In fact, there is even a provision in the constitution that if the President of India feels that in a certain state there is a significant number of people speaking, let's say, X language. I'll give you an example. Let's say UP has official language of Hindi, Urdu. In UP, if the President of India feels that there is a significant amount of people who speak Tamil language, then the President of India can ask the UP government to make Tamil as one of their official languages also. So the choice of the official language of the state is not bound by the 8th schedule, and in that choice the President of India can also ask them to include some other language as well. Now, why is it that it is important, or why is it that many speakers want their language to be considered in the 8th schedule? What is it that they would get out of it? Aisa kya fayda hoga? What are the advantages, if there are any? Now we will discuss about the advantages with reference to one language, that is Tulu. Tulu. Now, Tulu is a South Indian language, it's a Dravidian language spoken in some parts of Karnataka and some parts of Kerala, and it has a fairly good number of speakers. There has been a long-standing demand from Tulu speakers that their language also deserves to be a part of the 8th schedule, and they have their reasons for it. With reference to that, let's see what exactly is the point and why is it that the Tulu language speakers want their language to be in the 8th schedule. What advantage would they get? First, any schedule language has recognition from the Sahitya Academy, means the Sahitya Academy that gives out awards to authors, etc. of different languages. They would also start considering the authors of the Tulu language. So that is one big advantage that they would get. Second big advantage, if you are a member of parliament, member of state assembly or state council, then you are allowed to speak in scheduled languages and translation would be available. So let's say if you're a member of parliament, you're addressing the parliament, you can speak in the Tulu language also and it would be translated real time to someone else. Third, the literary work that is in Tulu. So many books would be written in the Tulu language. A lot of good literature would be available. That would now be translated into other languages so that readers of other languages could also read it. The most relevant point, in fact, for your point of view is in the IAS examination, as you know, in the mains stage, there is a compulsory language paper. So there are two compulsory papers, an English paper and there's a compulsory language paper where you can choose any of the scheduled languages. If you're from a Hindi speaking state, you can choose Hindi, you can choose Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Punjabi, whatever you wish to. If you want, you can give that paper in any of the scheduled languages. So you can give that paper in the Tulu language as well. If you are writing the civil service examination, you have to make a choice from the list of scheduled languages. So Tulu speakers can take that language in the compulsory language paper. And last but not the least, the language would get certain special funds from the government of India for their own development. Now that can be used for, let's say, setting up of research centers, that can be used for translation work, that can be used for encouraging many other people to take up works in these languages. That is why a lot of demands have been made. Now, there are good reasons why people have been demanding Tulu to be included. Now, Tulu speakers especially say that since Sanskrit is a part of the 8th schedule, at least the number of Tulu speakers are more than number of Sanskrit speakers in the country. So if number of speakers is the criteria, then why not Tulu, or why is Tulu not made a part of the 8th schedule, which is a pretty sound logic, at least in my view. This is what you had to read about the schedule languages and the demand to include schedule languages in the 8th schedule. And again, let me remind you, as always, if you're preparing for the IAS examination, you can consider joining the Gradeup Super subscription. There are courses being run for 2022, 23, 24 foundation courses. There are also crash courses for prelims that are ongoing right now. The IAS course, the complete course, comes with over 500 live classes, accompanied with notes, practice questions, and a lot more. You have an option to choose your plan from 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 2 years, whichever suits you as per your own timeline. These are the benefits you get of subscribing to Gradeup Super: access to all running and upcoming courses, structured study plans, expert faculties, study material, PDFs, quizzes, and a lot more. These are your expert faculties, different faculties for all the different subjects: IT's quality, governance, and international relations. These faculties carry with themselves years of experience and are apt at training students for this examination. We are also on Telegram. Search for Gradeup IAS preparation channel. Join the channel and you will get a lot of study material and short notes there. Thank you so much for watching in, guys. Do download the Gradeup app. There are topic wise quizzes that you can practice and you can also attend live classes. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye bye.